manipulating and controlling you, that's the first sign. Then you need to start asking yourself questions, because the next thing.
Can I chip in something? And
Yeah.
also, when they don't allow you to work, it's also a big problem, because then they don't allow you to work or learn a trade or anything, and so you don't have friends, as she's saying. So you don't go anywhere, you are there, and he's always the boss, or probably she's always the boss, and has to come to you for everything that you need. And you don't want to offend the person, so they become like your god, as you are saying.
Wow.
I'd
All right,
like
Lily.
to add to that, though, that there are some other things that you can look out for, right? For instance, how does the person make you feel about yourself? Do you feel like you're yourself when you're around them? Or after you leave them, do you then feel as though, well, this isn't quite what I had wanted to do, or how I had hoped to act, and yet I did that because I didn't want to rock the boat, or I just want to please my partner? Those are some of the things that then make you feel like there's something off. And when you leave the person's presence, do you feel emotionally drained? Because you're on edge. There's the smallest wrong thing that you say, the person might flare up, the person might be angry, the person might threaten you to leave or whatever. Or do you feel as though you're putting in everything and you're not getting what you need from this relationship? There are all these subtle things that may be creeping in. When he starts to try to isolate you, a lot of the time by then it has already started, because they would have chipped away into your life little by little by little, and then start to control who you should be around, who you should talk to, what kind of work you should do, and things like that.
So the isolation that you all talk about is the main red flag that you should look out for. If a person tries to remove you from the people who you love and the people who remind you of who you are, you're probably in a toxic relationship. And this starts by them passing maybe negative comments about these people, or making you feel like you don't need them in your life. Interesting. 0244340437 is a number you can reach us on. Call us now. So does it mean that when a person does these things that you people have spoken about, they are toxic? Or it is possible that sometimes a person might not want you to be talking on the phone at night or talking to some people, etc., because they genuinely love you and those people are not good for you?
I think it depends. You see, when you care about someone and you think something they're doing or how they're behaving is damaging, your approach to it is different. Now, somebody who wants to control you can do it one of two ways, the way I see it. One, he can insist, I'm the boss, do it as I say, and due to this and that reason I can hold over you, you have to follow. Or it can be two. Are you sure you want to be hanging around people like that? They make you look this way, they make you act that way. They are not worth your time. They are this and they are that, and make you feel guilty for being around certain people or doing certain things when they are not with you, or which they don't approve of. So if the person genuinely loves you and thinks that, honestly, my partner is becoming something else when they're hanging out with these kinds of people, I think that as an adult, he should be able to talk to you about it. Absolutely talk to you about what it is that you're doing and how they see it. And at the end of the day, the decision rests with you, whether or not to stop or continue.
Because you can
not
think.
own you because you can think.
Yes.
Yeah.
They do not own you. You have agency. You have the right and the ability to make your own decisions as a human. And therefore, yes, I hear you. And it's the same with our parents, right? If your parents think you shouldn't be doing something or shouldn't be going certain places or hanging out with certain people, they tell you, but at the end of the day, as an adult, you can tell your mother or your father right now, all of us sitting here as adults, that thank you for this point. I've noted your concerns. I disagree with them because of A or B or C, and so I'll continue. But when they start to force you, then even as parenting, it becomes toxic.
Yeah. And sometimes too, when you are in a relationship where the person wants to tell you even the course that you should read in school, the person wants to live through you. There are people who live through others. So do this course as if you are a baby. They want to tell you everything. Don't eat this. Don't do that. I'm going on diet. No, it's not good for you. I'm doing this. No, it's not that. You are looking too fat. Go down. Then you realize that is the person really thinking about you, or the person just wants to control you? There is that thin line between the control and you thinking the person is in love with you. I think from what Doc is saying is the approach. There is nothing wrong with getting advice from your partner that, oh, I think that Sang, you are better at this course than this one, so let's go this way. And then I give you reasons. But if you think that, I have, my sister once said, she had a boyfriend who wanted her to be a teacher because they'll go on vacation and she'll be at home. It's not enough a reason to force your wife to be in a certain career. You know, they'll be at home for 3 months and sometimes 1 month, and that's what he wants. So she had to go to, teacher training school according to him, but she didn't. Now she's doing something else and she's doing great at it. You don't have to force your things onto your partner. That is where you are turning toxic. Some are overt, others are covert. It's covered.
Yeah.
Some are overt. It's so obvious. Those are the narcissistic people. You can see them and then they are all of themselves, full of themselves. But the others are covered. Sadly, they are doing it to you, but you can't really see it.
Yeah.
And then they will tell you, don't discuss anything with your friends. I don't want you talking with your friends. Oh, don't tell. So this one too, you are going to tell your friend. Why do you want to tell your friends about everything? But if you discuss, as ladies, as we are sitting here, people are listening and they are learning something from it. So we discuss with our friends. This guy said I shouldn't do this and that. What do you think about it? Oh, Sang, the last time that this guy did this to this lady, it wasn't good for her or something. Then we learn from it. Why do you want to cut me from telling a friend or a family member something that you are doing to me and I don't agree with?
That's what they tell us at marriage counseling. You
do
don't
it.
have to go and discuss your family matters or you and your husband's matters with your friends.
Don't take everything there, but there are some things that you need something outside
I think
advice.
everybody needs people
Yeah.
that can advise them.
Yeah.
So obviously we don't want you to come Facebook Live and be saying, imagine what my husband did to me and all. Obviously we don't want you to be spreading out all of the information, because what happens is that you find other toxic people coming in to give you ideas and opinions that then end up making matters worse. But then you need someone that you can talk to in confidence.
Yeah.
About what is bothering you, because your husband or your partner can't be 100% of what you need all of the time.
So do you think and this is to you for a while and even to you, Doc, do you think that there is a certain kind or personality type of women who are prone to falling in love maybe with toxic people, or can it happen to all of us?
Okay, so I'll give a typical example of someone I know. She's my cousin. And she has been prone to toxic relationships. Like every relationship she's had is toxic because she's had a toxic relationship with her dad from childhood.
Okay.
So her idea of love is somebody who controls her, somebody who wants to beat her, somebody who wants to...
Someone who wants to beat her.
Yeah, that's her idea of love. So she in herself is toxic. So she's looking for somebody to keep validating her because her self-esteem is this low. So she has 3 children with a man who has been totally toxic. He ends up in jail. She goes to beg for him to be released.
Wow.
It's like an endless cycle. So there are people who have certain issues, like childhood issues, that have grown up with them, and their idea of love is distorted because of their experiences.
Wow. Okay.
Yes, and there
let's hear
are
from
some
you, Dr.
personality types that you may say might be more likely to remain in a toxic relationship. I'm not sure whether or not there's people who would definitely go into toxic relationships just because of who they are. But there are some personality types, like those who have a very dependent personality, where they require validation from people around them to feel good about themselves or to feel like they're worth something. Someone like that, when they find themselves in a relationship which is harmful or damaging, they are very likely to just remain. Or those who are avoidant and do not want to take risks, or those who do not want to sort of muddy things around them. They like things in a calm way. They're more likely to remain in relationships that then can be harmful to them or to the people around them.
0244340437 is a number you can reach us on via WhatsApp. 0244340437. WhatsApp us now. I'd also activate the phone lines as we go, and then you can call. But let me read some messages coming in. Hello, now. Good evening to you and the team. I've been married for 7 years now with 3 children. My wife has never put me first in anything or care about my welfare. She insults me to her siblings and denigrates me to people I don't approve of. She'll insult and drag her feet before running errands for me. She has never even wished me well on my birthday. In short, total disrespect towards me. She is stingy and has never bought a gift for me before. I pay all the bills in the house and yet it's not recognized. I tried to talk to her, but she won't listen. She's a graduate, but she behaves like a typical villager. Interestingly, she never showed this attitude when we were courting. I am currently in Germany doing my master's degree, but she has never bothered to find out how I even survive. All she does is ask for money and for more money. Really, I'm fed up. Please help me. That's from Emmanuel. Hi, Ofoewa. Please find out from your panelists whether the individual goes into the relationship with a mind of making it toxic. From the discussion, I think they're generalizing the whole thing, and that's from Jojo. Okay, so I think from what Jojo is saying, is it possible that you enter a relationship which is seemingly great, but as you go along, the toxic nature of the person either shows up or the person builds it, or it comes from somewhere? Can the stress of life, the economy, doomsday and all of that make a person toxic, a person who's not toxic?
I think that it's both. There may be some people who would want to go into this. They think that this is somebody I can dominate and I can control. I mean, at the heart of it, the toxicity is all about control and determining how your partner needs to behave. So there may be some people who would go into particular relationships thinking that this person or this woman is one I can have my way with, and do anything, control her, make her into what I require or how I want her to be. But there may be other people who perhaps did not start it out that way, but by their very nature or the way they react or the way they behave, do things that end up being toxic. And you find that a lot of the time when people are courting, when they're dating, the communication isn't that great. How we handle disagreements, right? Those things show you how the person behaves when you disagree with him or when there's something going wrong. Sometimes you find people saying, oh, my husband has done this or my wife has done that. What should I do? The answer is always talk to them. Find out. If you're courting someone, talking should be the number one thing that you guys are doing. It's not all about the love and going out to restaurants and having fun and all of that. Talking about real issues and disagreements and things like that, how you resolve them, though all of those things would show up and would determine how the relationship continues. So some people's relationship may start out okay, they're fine, they're smooth, but when you have to live with the person and then these things start to come up, if it's not resolved, then it becomes a pattern.
Let's talk about the things that are not overt, the things that you can't see. You know, the things that you guys have talked about, you know, someone who's trying to isolate you from the people who love you and all of that are things that you can pick up on. How about the things that you can't pick up on?
I think now, before we answer that question, I want to also say that sometimes when we meet and we are dating, we take certain things for granted. So sometimes they don't talk at all. Or we talk and then the person asks you, what are your ambitions? I want to be a lawyer, I want to be a doctor, I want to be this, I want to be that. They take it as just mere words. They don't see you as becoming that. That's one thing I've realized. And then usually for the men, because I'm a woman, that's what I've seen. So the men can speak for themselves on another platform. But for the women, I think when we go into relationships, the men just see you as, oh, this is maybe na or sang or this or that. They don't see you as becoming anything else. You talk to them, you tell them, I want to be this, I want to be that. They think they are just dreams. Yeah. They don't feel bothered by it. Now, when you start achieving them one by one, mind you, there are girls who are very intelligent, but because of poverty, they are not schooling. Yeah. Your guy does not know that you are this intelligent. So he starts paying your fees or helping you or, you know, pushing you, helping you to get there. And then he realizes that, this girl is some firebrand that he cannot, he cannot contain. Some people have had their first degree and they are preventing their wives from doing their doctorate and masters because they also, you know, can't get the time to do it or they are not interested in. And those are some of the things that bring about that control. Because now your relationship started on a great note, but things are changing. My point here is that you don't have total control over your partner. You don't have total control over the life of your partner. What you see now might not be what she will be in future till the end. So as we are dating or as we are getting married, we should bear in mind that we change. Not for, I don't want to say for the worse. We might change for the better, which might not augur well for you. So it's something that people should know. Talk about your ambitions and let the person know how real that ambition is. I'm talking from some form of experiences I've had and my friends as well. Because people just see you and think that, oh, this is just a girl walking by the roadside. The next minute you are doing law, the next minute you are doing masters. And it's a big deal for them. And when you start talking about PhD, they are like, hey, into school, how do you pursue baby? Now, these are things that come in and people are competing with you. Your partner wants to do this, wants to do that. It's a big problem. And they think you are all over the place. And feminism is a big problem for them and all that.
And when it comes to communicating before a relationship starts, like she's saying, when they start talking about their ambitions, you also need to listen to what the guy is saying. Mm-hmm. You need to hear him when he says that, well, I want my wife to be a stay-at-home wife. Don't think that I'm going to be a working mom, but he's going to understand. Mm-hmm. And then he says, oh, well, I want my wife to be following me around to occasions. Mm-hmm. I want my wife, all those little things that they say. When it comes to ambitions, like she's saying, he's thinking about the ambitions of his wife. He doesn't see the woman going to school, furthering her education, or becoming a great manager of some big establishment. She's just thinking of a woman who is in his shadow all the time. So you need to listen to all those conversations and pick up on those things.
And this is for a woman who, for example, does not want to be a stay-at-home mom.
No.
Or does not want to follow her husband.
Exactly.
No. Okay. Yeah. Because there are some people who.
Oh yeah, I agree.
It could even be the opposite.
That's great.
It could be the opposite.
Yeah.
The person might want you to work, but you would want to be with the kids.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So I was coming to the factors that might not be so open, or things that they don't necessarily say to you with words that you can understand, and then deduce what it could mean. Like, for example, silent treatment, or withholding emotional support when you need it, or just abandonment or rejection, and making snide remarks here and there.
Yes.
You don't even know what is going on, or you're walking on eggshells all the time. You're afraid to offend them. When they do something, you can't even say it.
Yeah.
Are these also signs of toxic relationships?
Absolutely, yes. They're point blank things that you should take note of, because one of the dangerous factors, or one of the dangerous outcomes of toxic marriages is what some people refer to as gaslighting, where you start to doubt your very sanity because of the snide comments and the things that the person has done or said to make you feel as though, well, maybe I overreacted. He insulted me in front of everybody. It's like, why are you being so sensitive? I was just joking. Or he calls you, oh, look at my wife. She's as short as a dwarf, or whatever, right? And you feel offended. And when you say it, he says, nah, you're too sensitive. Don't you know when it's a joke? Then you start to think, well, maybe I did overreact, or maybe it isn't that big a deal. But it chips away at how you feel about yourself. You start to think that, okay, well, then I'm not really worth that much. Or I feel as though maybe he's right. Maybe I'm not that smart. Or I'm not that pretty, or whatever. And then you start to feel as though your emotions are not genuine. That's very dangerous, because it cuts across. It won't affect you in just your marriage. Yeah. It will cut across other things that you do.
Like Lily was saying initially, it's always reevaluate how you feel when you leave the person's presence. How do you feel? You feel like, oh, this person is not treating me really well. But something keeps drawing you to go back to that person. And every time you leave, you feel worse than you did before you went. Then you need to start questioning yourself. Because those tiny remarks and that silent treatment just to emotionally abuse you because of something that you did or that made you look strong, those are the things that, like, how does it make you feel?
But how is someone giving you the silent treatment abuse? How is that abuse?
It depends.
It's what you feel inside of you, and you can't let it out, and you are stuck in your room crying, but you can't tell the other person to what he is doing to you or she is doing to you, because it doesn't make sense. Like you are saying, the gaslighting. There's also the dangling carrot, where the person makes promises and you never get it. So it's like they are dangling the carrot, you never get to bite it. Now, do you know what that does to you? Imagine you have a husband who promises you, I'll do this for you, or okay, we've agreed on something and the thing is never coming. Emotionally, you are drained because it's something that you are looking forward to. Let him even tell you that we will not have it. It's better than to say, okay, we'll do it next year. Oh no, Christmas, we'll do it. Then the following year. your life is now all dependent on something that is never coming. So you are moving close to it and then it's going. It's like some form of mirage. It's what you go through inside you. That is where the problem is. Someone will tell you that it's even better to even hit the person than to say that you are putting the person through emotional torture, because then the person is you are killing the person is dying, but there's nothing she can do about it.
So there was a young lady who said that she had abstained from sexual relations with her boyfriend till she got married for 3 years. And then now they are married, the guy says, I'm not having sex with you for 3 years. After actually having sex with her the first night, just to consummate the marriage and make the marriage legal. And then after that, he says, now you're also going to go through what I went through for 3 years.
There is someone
Yes.
a friend of mine who is married, and what happens is that when she requests for, sexual intercourse, the husband would say no and would rather masturbate in front of her.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
happens.
No.
Just to spite her, to let
Yeah.
her know that me here okra, that's it. And she's going through hell. So someone like this, she's going through some torture, mental, insanity.
It works on your self-esteem
What the hell is
really, really, really deep. It really, really works on your self-esteem. Like you keep
Wow.
asking yourself, am I woman enough? What's going on?
When you say these things, does it refer to women who by themselves are not very confident in themselves or don't know who they are already? Or you're talking about a woman who knows who she is, knows what she's worth, and all of that. And one snide comment from her husband, or her husband giving her silent treatment, can make you feel this way.
Well, I think that there are strong women who end up in toxic relationships before they realize it. I have a classmate who was shot dead by her husband because of jealousy. And she's a very strong woman. She knows who she is. But it was such a slow process. It creeped in so slowly before she realized it. Before we all realized what was happening, she was already dead. So you cannot say that, well, I'm bold, I'm confident, so it doesn't happen to me. At every point in time, I would advise that people reevaluate their relationships.
I think it's also because women are made to feel that they are those who have to maintain their marriage
And compromise.
so they are working hard to keep their marriage. I always tell my mom that you give this sentence, wait, you're worry for, like the person can be in the marriage when they are even killing the person. Or as for this woman, she has to be a counselor. She knows how to be in a bad marriage and keep it. For what?
Yeah, once a woman suffers, she's a good woman.
That's it. So now she'll be there. And my auntie went through that. Fortunately, she was not shot, but a gun was held to her head from her home right to the Tamale airport, and she came back home to the husband.
I'm sorry, a gun was held to her head.
Yes.
How? What happened?
To suck her out of the house, and she went back to the house.
Why did she go back?
Because she has to keep her marriage. She's a good woman.
Sometimes
and I
those
asked
are
them,
the problems
What-
with the
why
advice
isn't-
we give.
tell us what you hear at the hospital. What are some of the things that people come to you with?
I think in the first place, just before I answer that, I think that apart from like professionals like myself, who may see someone who dares to even come for professional help, most people will go speak to an older relative or mother or a pastor. Also, and almost all the time they tell you that they are told to just pray and stay in it and things. Some people would speak to the man. I wouldn't say that all of them are bad, but some people would call the man to advise him and things like that. But the nature of some of these manipulations is that he would then turn it out on you, turn it back on you if you are not careful. So like now I was asking, what about the silent treatment? After you've reported him to the pastor, he can come home and not say a single word to you, right? And you are there, shivering in your boots because you know that they've spoken about the situation. He's not saying a single word about it, but you're expecting some kind of reaction. So you'll be on edge until the shoe drops, and that in itself is a form of torture. Yeah. Sometimes people would come to you for help, looking for ways that they can actually get through to their husband or to their partner because they've endured it for so long. But most of the time, by the time they come to us, it's gone on for quite a while.
Do toxic people know that they are toxic? Or can someone genuinely not know that what they are doing to their spouse or their partner is abusive? I'll let you answer that, but here are the phone lines that you can call us on. Now, 0302 216541 is just one line, by the way. 0302 216541. Call us now. Here are some messages coming in. Marriage counseling is the worst toxic there is. Because it causes families to break. Marriage is between the family and not the church. Okay. A grown man just passed away last week, and all indications show that a toxic relationship killed him. I also think some personality traits like melancholic people can be really toxic. I had an experience with such a person who will say things and you will feel like going to bend the sea, and that's from my job. Good evening, ladies. It's a tough topic. To be with a toxic person, just consider the person to be difficult and try to be tolerant. Accept him, even if you are right.
You see, sometimes those are the problems.
That's the problem, yeah.
Sometimes that's the problem, because
that right there is the problem.
It doesn't solve the issue, right? It's only so long that you can accept him just to make him right.
Okay.
So there are
I've got Stephen on the line. Let's talk to Stephen from Somani, and I'll come to you. Hello, Stephen.
Yeah, nah.
Yes, you're live.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening.
I'm really enjoying today's topic. And sometimes with the toxicity, there are ladies in particular who enjoy being with men like that. Because, for instance, I have a sister. She started a relationship with a guy from JHS. The guy is that rascal type. He beats her today. You go to the guy is sent to the police station. My sister goes to pay a visit. They bring the guy home, and a whole lot of things. But me, I'm a guy who respects women, and then I trust equality and then equity. So I like women who believe in themselves and they don't go down low to the men to work on them. So thank you very much.
Thank you for sharing. I've got Esther on the line now from Adenta. Hello, Esther. Hello, Esther.
Good evening.
Hi, Esther. You're live.
Yeah. Okay, with me, I think you find yourself in a toxic relationship and you think you can't handle it. Just move. Because you can't kill yourself emotionally, but somebody doesn't even care. So if you are strong enough and you've been tolerating it for a while and you think you can't help it, my dear, just leave.
All right, Esther. Thank you so much. Lily, do you think that you should try to, she says if you can't tolerate it. So if you can't tolerate it, should you?
I think that depends on the person. Everybody has the extent to which they're able to tolerate things and what they want to be able to live with,
So you're saying that if you can't tolerate it, you should?
No, I'm saying if you decide you want to tolerate it, then maybe you will find ways to tolerate it. There's no should about it.
What's your recommendation?
Mm-hmm. I can't recommend one thing, because as human beings we are as different as I don't know, as humans.
As it gets.
Yes. And what some people will use religious reasons, they'll use childhood reasons, they'll use personal ambitions or personal aspirations as reasons for staying. And some people would use the love that they have for the person and believe that the person will be able or willing to change.
How about those who want to tolerate it for the children?
There are those who would say they'll tolerate it for the children as well. For me, what you should do, the should here is that you should be aware of what it does to you and those around you. Once you're aware of the consequences, then you may be able to find ways to live with what you're experiencing. That for me is the only should, but there's no such thing as, well, this is where I stand on things, so everybody should be the same as me. That doesn't quite work for everybody.
I think for children see more than we think they see. Mm-hmm. Now here she is sitting here talking about her mom's experience. Mm-hmm. As young as 6 years old, we leave a lot of imprint in children's minds without realizing it. The things we say, the way we move, the way we talk to our partners. Because this cousin of mine I was talking about, she has an abusive son. Mm. Her son is abusive towards women around her just because she wanted to stay with a man and have all her kids with one man. Mm-hmm. That idea vexes me so much. When I hear women saying, I want all my kids to come from one man. So the man is beating you black and blue and you are staying in the name of the kids. Mm-hmm. And now you have a 16-year-old who is abusive. So
Wow.
what did you achieve in the end? So now you have 3 kids with him, you move away. But the imprint has already been made on the mind. So if you say you are doing it for the kids,
I
please
think
come
that
again.
be 100%
I
sure.
think you mentioned me, so I'll say this. I wish my mom hadn't stayed for me. Seriously.
Yeah.
Because I have to live the rest of my life trying to heal her. If she had left, I would have been far better. She left anyway. So why didn't she leave early to find herself, pick up herself, and then come back for us? Probably would have been better than to stay and say you are staying for the kids and not getting anything and losing you.
But I have come across situations where the person left for the kids and then felt guilty for the rest of their lives. That's also something that the children carry, because in the things that the mother ends up doing, she portrays the fact that because of you, I sacrificed my marriage, or I did this, or I did that, and then that also has a toll on the children. So that's why I'm saying that in whichever decision you take, you should be aware of what the consequences are and what it would mean for those around you, including your children. If you decide to stay and you think that you can find a way to work at the man and make him different, that is you being aware and being proactive and trying to do something about it. If you decide to walk and you're aware that, because of what my children have experienced, I need to work with them, I need to talk to them, I need to teach them that what I was in was bad, and therefore they should look out for these kinds of things, then that's also you being proactive.
All right, let's talk to KB on the line now. Hello, KB.
Hello there.
Hi, thank you for calling.
Welcome.
Good evening. You're live.
What do I do to a woman who has lived for 12 years, who has refused to work?
You said,
She said 12 years she has refused to work.
what are her reasons?
She set her up and everything goes bad.
Okay, Lily will answer that. Thank you for calling. Ajiman is on the line now. Hello, Ajiman.
Yeah, good evening, madam. I hope you're doing well.
I'm great. I hope you are too.
Yeah, I'm also enjoying
All right,
it.
you're live.
Yeah, I think being in a toxic relationship comes with 2 phases. One, do you know that such a person is toxic, but because of his money or her beauty, you still want to be with him or her? Or did you enter into a relationship before knowing that this is how the person is? So if the person is like that and the person had it from me, it's a different issue. But if you know before entering into that relationship, then you need to cope with it. No matter what, you should accept the person the way he or she is.
No
Because
matter
you
what.
knew and you entered into it.
Okay. All right.
That's my point.
Thank you. He said no matter what. What do you think about that? For people who, enter relationships, they know this person is not good for me, but then they think, oh, I can change him or he will change. And I think it's something that a lot of people say, oh, I think he will change. What do you think?
As human as we are, we make mistakes and you correct them. If you realize that this person isn't changing the way you hoped he would, and especially because we always feel like we can change them, then if you realize that actually no, I can't change that person, then yeah, I think you should.
Is it even
yourself.
possible to change someone?
No. It's you may influence the person's behavior, but at the end of the day, they make the decision of how to behave.
Okay. Here's a message. Now tell your listeners this. There are only 2 issues to consider with toxic relationships: life or death. That's 1. And 2 is happiness. If it's a life-threatening situation, get out of it. And do not ask if the price is worth the happiness you are getting. All right. Thank you for sending that in.
I think the guy who mentioned setting the lady up, I wanted to ask, setting her up, did you ask her what she wanted to do, or you are deciding what you want
He said
her
that
to do?
she has decided not to work.
Okay.
And then I asked him why.
Yeah.
And he said he set her up so many times and it doesn't work out.
And I wonder whether that decision not to work has always been like that. Was he aware that there's somebody who doesn't want to work and wants to live with him without working?
I guess I should have asked him that.
Yeah, and for me, some of those things, like Oferua mentioned, they are red flags from the get-go, Somebody's passion or somebody's desire is to be a housewife. And not work. So even if you set me up with the most fantastic multinational company and I don't want to do it, I won't do it. Or I won't be able to do it if I don't have the skill.
Can you believe it's been an hour since we started talking?
Wow.
Like an hour just went by. We have just 5 minutes to get out of the studios. I'm going to read some of your messages and I'll take your closing remarks. All right, good evening now. I was dating a guy some years back. The relationship was perfect from the beginning. It got to a time I have to tell him where I go or going somewhere. And one time I called him when I was at work. And the thing is, I am a nurse. So I called him at 11 p.m. And I saw him online on WhatsApp. So I decided to call him. Do you know the response he gave me? Did you watch the time before you called me? I was really hurt. And it totally changed my mood. And that's from Mamiesi. Okay. Mamiesi, I'm sorry about that. He was online, and that's the problem. The problem is that he was online. All right. Hello, Na. Great show. Very educative topic. Well-informed panel. Kudos. And that's from Nane Kia Koranting Sampa. Texting us from Dansuman. Thank you so much. All right. This one says, nice topic. Next time, do toxic parent-child relationships. All right, that's something we refer to Home Affairs. Okay, more messages coming in. Unfortunately, I cannot read them. I have just 5 minutes to go. So I'm going to take your closing remarks. And I apologize to all of you who are texting and calling. Please, I'm sorry. All right, Ofori, I'll start with you.
Okay, so now I would say that please know who you are before you enter a relationship. Otherwise, the relationship is going to define who you are. I think especially young women, take time, discover yourself, find out what takes you, what you want to do. I mean, all those things, you need to discover it before you decide to go and attach yourself to somebody else. And if at any point in time you realize that you think you're in a toxic relationship, please step back. Just take a step back. Give yourself like a month. Stepping away from the circumstance gives you a better look at the picture. So you can decide if you want to go back or stay out.
All right, Sangwa King.
Well, I'll say that if you find yourself in a toxic relationship, it will be better to forget about what society thinks. Because I think in our society, we kind of think too much about what they are thinking than what we really want. As Doc said, what do you want? Look at yourself first. Put yourself first. Don't think about your mom, your dad, reputation at church and all the blah, 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 blah. You are an elder or a deaconess or something. And so what? Your happiness is key. Just make sure that whatever you do, you are happy.
Happiness is key. Very important. All right, Lily.
And to add to all of that, one of the things that you should always ask, even after you've been in a relationship for a while, is how do I feel when I'm around my partner? Does this person make me feel good about myself? Or do I feel worthy? Do I feel like they are helping me to grow as a person? Are we mutually helping each other to grow? For me, that's also very key. The way in which you think about your relationship and express it to your partner makes a big difference in how you communicate with each other and therefore how the relationship progresses.
Awesome point to end the show. Thank you so much, Lily. Oforiwa in Samwaki. What can I say? I've learned a lot today. I have. And I see your messages coming in. She says, when are you going to discuss long distance relationships? We'll do that. We'll do that. And that too can have a lot of toxic.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you ladies so much.
Thank you.
And to all our callers who are still calling, my producer Abu says to tell you to please stop calling. Special thanks to Abu, to Abeku, my producers, and Selwyn, the man on the social media desk. My name is Na Ashako. This has been Strong and Sassy Live on Joy 99.7 FM. Thank you so much for listening. Coming up next, Sami Forsin is on with the Overdrive.